Victor, this Mayorkas situation is dark. We only know that he was told the truth, that there was no whipping of migrants, because the Heritage Foundation filed a FOIA request on documents, and they got the documents showing that one of Mayorkas' staffers had sent him before, two and a half hours before he publicly addressed the nation. The report from the photographer from Reuters, who said there was no whipping. That isn't true. Some of the angles on the shots may make it look that way, but it's not what happened. He saw that and nonetheless went out and addressed the public with a very different message. As a reminder, here's what Mayorkas said, soundbite 10.
We, our entire nation, saw horrifying images that do not reflect who we are, who we aspire to be, or the integrity and values of our truly heroic personnel in the Department of Homeland Security. The investigation into what occurred has not yet concluded. We know that those images painfully conjured up the worst elements of our nation's ongoing battle against systemic racism.
Wow. The account of the photographer, Paul Rachi, who took the viral photographs, said, quote, "I've never seen them whip anyone." He, the Border Patrol agent, was swinging it, meaning the reins, but it can be misconstrued when you're looking at that picture. 2.5 hours later, Mayorkas sounded very different, and at the same time said the agents are being placed on administrative leave, and they were then investigated by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And just for extra good measure, Victor, he said at the time that they had ceased the use of horse patrol units in the area, and that those agents would be on administrative desk duty, not working with migrants for the foreseeable future, knowing that it was a lie. So what do we make of it?
Well, I think in the short term, in a cost-benefit analysis, he asked himself, where are the rewards and punishments? If I come out and say what I know to be true, what's the result of it? And that is the popular culture, the illegal immigration lobby, entertainment, social media, that whole group will attack me. And more importantly, my employers will attack me. But if I go on and lie and sort of praise the people I'm attacking by saying they're, most of them are pretty good, then I'm going to be fine. In fact, I'm going to be lauded and I'm going to be either praised or promoted someday. And then if anybody finds out that I was lying, that'll be way in the future and people will forget about it. But right now I'm going to be echoing or resonating what the president is saying, so that's one thing. And the second is, this is a systematic, using his word systematic or systemic, this is a policy where they want open borders. So anything that contributes to that by deprecating the enforcement by their own employees or stopping the wall or anything, it fuels this 3.5 million influx, and that's what they want. It's not that the border is porous, it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't mean that they pick and choose which laws to enforce or reject. There is no immigration law. They destroyed it. And I don't know what else to say about it. I don't think it's ever going to change until the people who are coming across turn out to be conservatives, or they're fleeing, the majority of them are fleeing communism in Cuba or Venezuela or something. And then the Democratic Party thinks, wow, we don't want to import these people. That will stop it. But anything else won't, as long as they're in power.
You're exactly right. It depends on where they're coming from and how they're going to wind up voting if they ever get the right to vote and wind up at the ballot box. I agree with you. If all these immigrants come from Venezuela or Cuba and wind up voting in any anti-dictatorial way, they're going to fix the border problem really fast.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see already with the Mexican-American voting, it's starting to really flip, and not just gradually, but suddenly. And you can see how they deprecate people down by the Rio Grande Valley who are running for office, or where I live in the San Joaquin Valley. And when they look at Latino activists on the left, as we saw in the LA City Council, they're kind of mute. Joe Biden and the administration and the Democratic hierarchy didn't weigh in at all. But had they been anybody else, they would have. Had they been conservative Latinos and they were talking about Oaxacans and the way they talk about, or blacks or whites or gays, they would have blasted them. So it's not that they're pro or, that's not, I think we've got to get beyond the idea that they're pro-minority or they're pro any particular tribal or ethnic or racial group. They're just pro people who are leftist that promote their agenda. And they can turn on people that were their former allies in a heartbeat.
Well, the push to bring immigrants to these more blue sanctuary cities has really made a difference. I mean, the newspapers here in the New York area are really focusing in on this. Governor Hochul of New York said on Wednesday that she wants a federal response to what's happening in New York, which has received some 18,600 asylum seekers. That's how we let people in now. We just say everybody's seeking asylum. So we've gotten almost 19,000 asylum seekers here. And she says, we want a federal response. We want the feds to take ownership of this crisis and we'll help, but this belongs to the federal government. But Joe Biden's not taking that bait. Mayor Eric Adams has declared an emergency over it. And he says every community should expect migrants. After city homeless shelters have hit record numbers, these kids are going into the schools. There are no Spanish speaking teachers, but maybe one here or there. They don't know what to do with all these kids. So, I mean, it's working out brilliantly. I understand this is pain being felt by the communities and the kids and so on. But welcome to your world. Welcome to the world of the people who live in border states.
Yeah, I mean, the same subtext is there, that the wealthy white and the wealthy diverse populations have been theoretically for open borders, but they're segregationists. They don't want anything to do with them. And I can tell you that on my avenue where I live, there are more people living in one residence than went to Martha's Vineyard in total. And I can tell you down the whole avenue in southwestern Fresno County, there's probably more thousands that have gone into New York City, and no one cares. Nobody said a word. Nobody cares about Central California schools, the impact they've had. Nobody cares about M13. Nobody cares about the resulting crime. Nobody cares about hit and run, where half the accidents in Fresno County, the driver leaves the scene of the accident. Nobody cares, Megyn. But once this particular protected cadre is affected, then you really see something. I think it's important to realize that their outrage is kind of symmetrical to their advocacy. They're very loud. They put signs, this house honors immigrants, and they get furious when anybody uses the word alien, and then they get furious when they actually see someone. And you get the impression that the entire edifice that they have of promoting illegal immigration is some kind of projection. It's some kind of way of squaring the circle, that they don't feel comfortable with people outside their class or maybe even their race. And so I think it's a way of squaring their own guilt.
If you're like me, you're growing more and more concerned about the future. The market's all over the place. Inflation is at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates are skyrocketing. Market experts are predicting, and already in some cases using the term recession, but also terms like economic hurricane and unprecedented. If you want to protect your future, call a precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. And they keep it simple. They're the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. And as an exclusive offer for my fans, if you call them right now, they'll give you up to $1,500 of free silver and a free safe on qualifying orders. So don't wait, call now. It's 866-518-2955. Call 866-518-2955 or just text my name, Megyn, to 65532. Again, call 866-518-2955 or text MEGYN to 65532. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.